Hey guys, how's it going? It is a pre-game show for Wednesday's action across the NBA. We have got 9 games on today, and we've got stuff to talk about as always. Hello to everybody that is here. Thanks to everyone who did make this show get to 70k subscribers. We did get there overnight, it appears for me, so thank you to everyone for that. We've got stuff to talk about as per usual. Injury update just popped through. Jaden McDaniels is questionable for tomorrow. All right, he just returned, so I don't know what's going on there. Jamal Murray probable, or KCP is out. That does open things up for Julian Strawther. I think they'll play Jackson and Murray together a lot. So I wouldn't say that Strawther is a must-grab player, but he's at least interesting. They could also start Christian Brown in that spot, even though Strawther has been ahead in the rotation the last 2 games. Jamal Murray probable, Aaron Gordon probable. That's all for tomorrow. Tari Eason is in today. The Sixers are starting their usual starters. The Pistons are starting the right lineup. Cunningham, not the right lineup, no Ivy, but Cunningham, Hayes, Bogdanovic, Thompson, Stewart. The Sixers the same, and the Hornets are the same with Richard starting in place of Big Mark Williams. Let's throw the lineup screen up there for you guys to see where we're at. We'll get all those confirmed ones highlighted in yellow really soon. Yeah, good to have you guys here again, of course. Let's get the questions out of the way. Well, not out of the way. I know there's people, Taj Gibson, I know. All right, I know. It's comical at this point with Tibbs, but Tibbs has a little bit of a reputation. Do I feel some of that? I guess so. But he's not as stubborn as it might seem. He's annoying. The blowouts and keeping guys in minutes is frustrating. The lack of usage to players in the starting lineup is annoying. The ball hog ISO offense is annoying. All that stuff's annoying. But he does value three-point shooting, as much as it might not seem it does. He does really value high-value shots, and his defenses are always really strong. But it's also worth remembering that we laugh at Taj Gibson, right? But this man is not 100% beholden to him. Gibson only is signing now. Maybe he starts, but I think Tom Thibodeau knows this, that Hartenstein's the better player. 2 years ago, Gibson was on the Knicks. He started 3 games. He played 50 games in total, like 18 minutes a night. That was before Hartenstein got there. He was like a backup. They didn't really have any other backup there. I really don't think that Taj Gibson signing means that Thibodeau will run a 3-center rotation, because he won't. He wants a 9-man rotation total. That is it. I don't think it'll mean that Hartenstein gets limited so that Gibson plays behind Sims. I don't think that happens at all. If anything, Gibson might start ahead of Sims, but honestly, he's not the jumpy pogo stick man. He's not a guy that can jump up and do what Robinson does and what Sims does and grab rebounds and do nothing else. He's 36 years of age. What this is, I believe, is Robinson's out for 10 weeks and Gibson's a trusted guy that Tibbs loves, and it gives them an emergency option because they have nobody else. There are no other centers on this team. It's Hartenstein and Sims, and that is it. So that's what I believe it is. I am very, very confident that Tom Thibodeau is not going to run 3 centers in a game. Maybe he does and extends it out to 10-man. I honestly don't, but I think he's well aware that Hartenstein's the better guy here. The other thing to look at is that we could talk about his loyalty. This man took Derrick Rose out of his rotation last season and said, I'm sorry, this is not good enough. You're not good anymore. You're done. The team declined Rose's team option because Thibodeau was like, as much as we laugh at it, he said, well, you're not playing anymore. Like, you're not good enough anymore. We're playing Juice McBride instead. And again, that goes against the narrative of Tom Thibodeau. But it is worth mentioning and worth remembering. Yeah, there we go. Femi says, a bit of an OG. That's good. Good to see. Would you consider dropping Jalen Green for Pajemski in a 14 team? I would add Pajemski. I don't think Jalen Green is a drop in a 14 teamer though. You must have someone worse than me. I wouldn't do that, no. No update, Timmy, on games for Draymond. I think we hear about this later. Any chance of an update? Where am I? Any chance of an update for Anthony Davis before 7 p.m. game starts? They're an 8 p.m. Eastern game. I would be relatively surprised. Desmond Bain just got ruled out, by the way, with an illness. So I don't know what is going to happen with that team. Yeah. So I don't think we hear on that, Victor. Jack. Victor, thank you again for all of your thoughts and all your thumbs up messages always. We got to 70k. Thank you. Oren says, "My pro or against adding 2 new NBA teams?" Absolutely pro. As with 30 teams, we see a lot of blowout games. 32 mean more bad teams like your beloved Pistons. I think there is a ton of talent in the NBA at the moment, to be honest. And I don't... 30. Yes, there are blowouts at the moment, but that is because of poor team management more than anything, not because there's a lack of talent. The teams that get blown out at the moment are the Pistons, the Wizards, who are just entering a rebuild phase, and it's the Spurs. But even the Spurs are not getting smacked every game. I think that there are so many guys who should be at least rotation players and aren't because of squished rosters. I think we need to go 32. Greetings from Lithuania. Isn't it late there? Kajus? Is it Kajus? I hope that's how I pronounce it. It must be late. Did you ask to do the Jack Armstrong when you're on TSN? I should have, Adam. I should have. I didn't, though. I should have said, hey, get Jack to give me permission. Drop Exum? No, why would you drop Exum? What happened to make you say drop Exum? I don't get that. How am I going to celebrate? I don't know, Wiz, probably by doing nothing. I don't know. What's the celebrate? 100,000 will be good. Get the plaque. That's the big celebration, I think. Why would the Knicks add Taj? Just talked about Arrow of Life. They just need somebody. I hate this question, Derek. No offense to you. Who are my biggest shutdown? I hate that term. I schedule all of my leagues, so that's not a problem. I just think it's an overblown thing that I'm not wasting any time on it. Just checking to see if any more news is coming through. Is Bam likely to return this month? Honestly, we just don't know. I would think so, but they're not giving really many details there. I toured Florence and saw Michelangelo's David. Was that worth missing out on Isaiah Hartenstein? I've been to Florence before, JP Lawrence. I didn't go see David. I saw the replica one out in the square. So I was like, I don't want to wait in this line to see a guy's small dick. What for? Not that I disagree with art. When I was there, I had limited time and it wasn't the best use of my time to line up for that. Drop Giddy for Poole in a 12-team league. I would, yes. Better stream tonight, Murphy or Aldama. I would stream Trey Murphy because he's just going to be a better guy to hold long term. What type of player can you get for Desmond Bain? You would try to get a top 20 player. That's what you try to get. I don't know, Jankian. Who's a good candidate to jump up 20 spots from current projections in my top one? I don't know. I'd have to go and have a look at it. There's always guys who are going to do it, right? But working out who those guys are pretty tough. And it's going to vary quite a bit. I doubt anyone outside of big injury stuff, and that's usually what it is. It's a big injury or a trade that happens that causes that player to jump up. Someone dropped Zach Collins. I picked him up thinking I was winning just to find out he's starting on the bench. Correct, Twester. He is starting on the bench. Wizards lineup is out. Tyus Jones, Jordan Poole, Denny Avdia, Kuzma and Gafford. Hey, Trey Murphy is not starting with Zion out. Zion is out, by the way. They're starting Dyson Daniels. Really interesting. That's so interesting. What is going on there? McCullum, Daniels, Ingram, Jones, and Valanciunas. Okay. You can stream Dyson in today, obviously, for defensive stats. Do I think Asar goes to the bench when Duran returns? He shouldn't. Do I think he does? I think a lot of that's going to depend on what happens in these next few games. I would hope that Stewart moves to the bench. But the Duran, to be fair to Monty, the Duran-Asar-Thompson pairing is not as clean as it is when Thompson pairs with Stewart because Duran has no ability to shoot, nor does Asar. But Stewart's got at least something. At least something. Jordan says, I'm punting points. I have Kobe White. Is White for Scotty Barnes? Okay, look, if you get Scotty Barnes for Kobe White, it's a huge W. If the person says no, do I offer White and Shaden Sharp for Scotty Barnes in a role play? I would do that as well. I don't think they're going to do it. There's no chance. Any good news on Wendell Carter? Yes, Antonio, he is back practicing. Who are my post-All-Star breakout candidates? Honestly, I haven't looked. I think we're so far away from this that anything that I tell you now or anything that you read or hear in other spots is going to be more misleading than helpful. Because, Injuries happen. We have no way of predicting it. Trades will happen. We also have no way of predicting it. So if you're looking ahead and thinking, well, I'm going to stash this, it's going to go wrong. Now, in saying all of that, you look at the bad teams. And which bad teams have guys that aren't playing minutes that probably will. And I immediately go to Utah and go to Taylor Hendricks and maybe Bryce Sensabaugh, but probably Taylor Hendricks. That would be the one that I look at and go, I'm a little bit interested there. The other one is Portland, and maybe Jabari Walker finds a 30-minute starting role if Jeremy Grant is out. That's probably what I look at. Don't know whether Jaren Jackson will continue to be the center. There's been absolutely no continuity with their lineups. So I would say maybe today, but long term, I don't know. How many more games should I wait to drop Zach Collins? It's a good question. It depends who's on your wire. I think you might want to give it one or two, but honestly, like I said the other day, now that they've gone to Victor at center, I don't think they're going back. So it's one of those ones that maybe it's a little bit early, and if Victor gets injured, Zach would have great value. We will see. If we see no crossover or 2 minutes of crossover between Collins and Wemby today, I think you move from there. Steve says, why don't I use listeners for the sample drops? That way we still get them. And because it's not the same thing. That's the thing, right? It just isn't the same thing. Part of the idea of all of the drops is that they're recognizable sounds that come from movies, TV shows, and songs. Listeners doing them, I just think would sound like, as much as I appreciate everyone's offers to do it, it just doesn't give the same bang, the same hit that what it does. So that's why people have offered it before, and it's not the same thing to me. And maybe I'm just being stubborn with that. Big Strowther game tomorrow. I don't know, Matt. I do think that they'll play a lot of Reggie and Jamal together. So Strowther will probably have an opportunity, but his big game did come because Jamal and KCP were out. He's got a chance for sure, and I don't mind having a crack at him, but I'm not super in on it. Darvin Ham says LeBron, Davis, and Vanderbilt are still going through their process to bullshit. There's no way they're going to play. Why would LeBron play in this back-to-back? There's no chance. I'm sorry. Maybe he plays. It would seem ridiculous that he plays. Do I think KD plays tonight? I believe KD is at least listed probable, isn't he? I think he's actually in. So yes, I think KD plays. Let me double check. Also, I don't know why is Beal playing on a back-to-back? That's pretty weird. Let's have a look. Yeah, Kevin Durant's playing, Booker's playing, Beal's playing. They're all playing. We've got that official news. Actually, I say all that. You can actually see that on the screen. This screen that's up here with the lineups, you can see it says Kevin Durant in. Bradley Beal off injury report. Devin Booker in. Gafford in. So what we're waiting on is the two Lakers ones. We've got Kessler and Markkanen likely to return. We're still waiting. That Wizards lineup is confirmed. We're still waiting on the Heat lineup, which should be the same as the usual. Raptors will be the same. Hawks, DeAndre Hunter's out. So I'm guessing they go with Garrison Matthews again? Or do they start Bogdan? Spurs, I'm guessing, will be the same. Pacers, the same. Bucks, the same. Grizzlies, a bit of guesswork. But with Bane out, do they start Noel? Probably. Or Vince Williams? Maybe Vince Williams. We've got Noel there, but it could be Vince. The Rockets should be the same. The Knicks should be the same. The Nets, don't be surprised if Thomas gets benched, but I don't think he will. I think he'll start. And the Suns should be Booker, Beal, Gordon, Durant, and Nurkic. And this should be the first time that all of these guys play together. Finally. Curry been slightly disappointing this season? Yeah, a little bit. How low would I sell on Bane? Well, you wouldn't be selling low. You'd be selling high on Bane. Is it realistic strategy to ride it out and benefit when inevitable Morant ankles? But that depends. Again, if someone gave me a top 30 player for Bane, I wouldn't accept it. All right. If someone said here's a top 17, a top 20 player, I would accept it. Because that top 17, 18, whatever player we're looking at has that similar value to when Morant is not there. To what Bane's value is when Morant is not there. So you're insulating your floor. If someone says, well, here's a top 40 guy, let's even throw like a DeJounte Murray into the mix, or an improved DeMar DeRozan, no chance I take that. I'd rather ride it out with Bane, because as you said, Morant could get hurt, he could get suspended again, and Bane's floor is about that mark as well. Drop DeAndre Hunter for Scoot? I know I would, yes. Next week to 10 days for Jalen Smith. At least we got an update on that. The timeline they gave initially was obviously ridiculous. How long could Jones be out? He literally might be back tomorrow. But we don't know. Do I think I'm going to beat Drew this week? Good question. That's in industry pickup. What is the current standings? We had 2 days in, obviously, in industry pickup. I'm against Drew Dinkmeyer. It's 1 versus 2, and I am leading 6-1. I have played 14 games. He has played 13 games. I also copped the Jokic ejection yesterday as well, which is a killer in a games cap. Absolute killer. So it's going to be close. I am down in blocks. I'm leading assists and turnovers again. We're equal in points. We're one different in threes. Field goals are pretty close. I'm smashing in free throws, and he's smashing me in rebounds. It's going to be close. It's going to be really close. I think it's going to be a 5-4 either way. Is Aldama a strong ad? He's an okay ad. He probably does get more shots, so that does improve his value today. Do I see Gilbert Arenas' comments on Asar? Absolutely. I tweeted about it yesterday. Absolutely some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Where do I rank Butler rest of season? Top 10? Under no circumstance. Do not ever believe that Jimmy Butler's a top 10 player. Top 20? No. I've got him I think 30th, maybe 35th, around that mark. He has obviously not been super impressive this season. Is Vince a good YOLO ad? I don't know, man. I don't mind it. There are quite a few games on today, and I wouldn't say that Vince is the best one. If we do hear he's starting, then he's okay. But yeah, I think there'll be other guys there. Gil, I talked about this with Taj. How many minutes do I see Taj playing a night? 0. Who benefits the most? Kuminga, Šarić, Pajemski. All these guys are going to benefit a lot. Talked about this yesterday, Tejas. Draymond should get 10 games. I would give him 20. So yeah, I think he should get 20 games. He's an idiot. He's done it so many times. Does Basketball Monster let you sort rankings? Yes. Everything on Basketball Monster is customizable to whatever your league is. It's amazing how many people don't actually know what we do at Basketball Monster. I try to explain it quite often. But yeah. Which players in stream territory good for both field goals and free throws? Not just today, but in general. Trey Murphy is usually one of those guys, too, whether he's available to do that. But that is a hard combination to find. There's not many players that do that. Usually you're looking for those, like Zach Collins is one of those. So like if you value in that and he's been dropped, that's what he provides. Can't think of anyone off the top of my head. Is DeAndre Hunter droppable? In 12 teams, of course. In 16 teams, no. Dyson starting means Murphy is a drop? Absolutely not. Playing the game of 240, I can see Tari and Amen at 25 plus if Holiday and Tate get cut from the... Do I see that happening? No. Holiday will get cut from the rotation. No question. Holiday will not be in the rotation. There's no question about that. But cutting Tate from the rotation as well means they're running, what, a 8-man rotation? That just seems unlikely. That seems unlikely. Yeah, I can't get them to that. Let me have a look. Actually, it's a good question because, I always preach the 240 game, and obviously it's something I not play, it's my bloody job, but that's what I do every day when trying to match these minutes out. So I've got them with a 9-man rotation currently. Amen's out today, for example. So I've got Tate at 13 minutes, Eason at 25. So if I took those 13 out of Tate, and he didn't play at all, well, let's look at what I've got. Maybe. Okay, maybe. If they went, but they're not going to go to an 8-man rotation. So I think Tate is going to stay playing. So at the moment, I've got 10 for Holiday. That can go on to Thompson. That gets him about 22, 23 minutes each, which I don't think is quite enough, especially for a men at this point. Yeah, there we go. Josh, any likelihood, given how bad the Wizards are, of a lineup change? I know other terrible teams like the Pistons have made changes. I guess they could, but what's the one that they do? Corey Kispert in for Avdia? Avdia's been all right. Is it Bilal in for Avdia? I think that's the problem is that let's rephrase this. I guess it is possible. If I was them, they're not utilizing Tyus Jones. He's not a part of their future. I would just start Jordan Poole at point guard. I would put Bilal in there next to Avdia at the 2 and the 3, and Kuzma at the 4. That's what I would do. Whether they do it or not, I don't know. Cool. That's good input, Josh. Did you watch last game or the game before? Could I see Bradley Beal being a late scratch on the back-to-back? Yeah, but because they've talked it up so much today, I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that. Is John Conchar a grab? Yeah, look, he's another option. There's so many different guys that they can go to. In the end, I wouldn't stress too much about who we are going to add for the one game that Desmond Bain is out with an illness. Because honestly, it's a dart throw. Is it Vince? Is it Conchar? Is it Zaire? Is it honestly anybody? This Noel, and I think you've got so much of a chance of getting it wrong, and the payoff is not that high. Jaquez is good at both percentages, but I don't trust his field goals. You shouldn't trust his field goals. Yeah, I agree with that. He has been good at both, but even I don't think his free throws were particularly high at UCLA. But yeah, I wouldn't trust all of that. Would Daniels be an add in a 20 team? Yeah, look, he'd be an add especially for today in a 14 team league. How many texts and ejections would I have on Basketball Monster for foul language? A lot. Luckily, there's no podcast in text. Do I believe Wendell can be a double-double machine? Like, Paprika Finessa, great name. As soon as you say machine and Wendell Carter Jr., you just go, okay, no. Like, he's not a machine. Can he be a 10-10 guy? Is that a machine? No, it's not. He's not that level of rebounder. So, look, do I believe he can do that? Absolutely not. No. Do I like the new Harden shoes? Yeah, look, I remember seeing them and going, they look pretty cool. I actually don't remember what they look like off the top of my head. But I'm going to go into it. Have I looked into UConn's Donovan Clingan? Yeah, it's a lot of Walker Kessler vibes. Yeah, it looks like a Kessler type with better mobility. I was surprised he didn't come out into this draft. But it is a strong draft, obviously. I thought his defensive stuff looks very interesting. I haven't done a huge amount into it. Am I worried about Mobley's knee? Yeah, you got to be. He's missed 3 or 4 games in a row here for knee soreness. I don't think it's a long-term thing, but Markel Fultz, yeah, I'm a little worried. When do I think Sensabaugh gets a chance? It's got to be later this season. He's already putting up some pretty good numbers over in the G League, but I would think, now Clarkson's out, maybe there's a chance, but they're not really going that way. I think it's going to take maybe a Clarkson trade or a Sexton trade or both, but I do think he can be a guy later on. Does it look like Bron and AD are playing the back-to-back? It looks more like it now than it did yesterday, but I still have significant doubts that they're going to play. Drop Cole Anthony for Brandon Pajemski. It's a good question. Pajemski is more of a flyer type of a guy here, because I don't know what they're going to do. Like, they should probably play him 28 a night, but my confidence in that happening is really, really low. So I'm not really sure that's what they're going to do. Cole Anthony's value is relatively capped, upside-wise, and Fultz, I guess, is returning soon, and that's going to put an extra limit on Cole. In the end, I probably wouldn't do that, but I don't think it's outrageous. Killian or Pods? Look, Killian's now that's a different question. Like, Killian, I don't think he's got very much upside. I think his minutes are going to actually drop as the season goes on. I don't know if Pods hits it, but, let's see what happens. Something's got to change there. Have I got any cool new shoes lately? What did I get? I got the Armand Jordan 5s. Got those. And I'm entering the raffles for the Powerpuff Girls SB Dunks. They look sick. I hope I get them, but probably unlikely. What Utah moves are we looking to activate Hendricks? It is a long-term injury to probably or trade of 2 of Markkanen, Collins, Olynyk. I think they would like to get a month of Hendricks starting next to Kessler at the end of the season. Are there any GMs you think you could do better than if you were in their role? No, Jack. I'm not that arrogant and self-absorbed to think that I could, because the role of GM, right, is very different to what we think the role of GM is. The role of GM or vice president of basketball operations, whatever you want to say, it's not just who do I draft. It's not just what trades and free agent signings do I make. There is jerking off agents, all of that stuff. You're managing, you are the general manager. We hear the term general manager, we think hire and sign and cut players. But you are managing everything. You are managing the staff, the coach, the coaching staff. You're hiring those guys. You're talking about interpersonal issues with those guys. You're managing stats guys, analyst guys, medical staff. You're talking to your scouts and your director of scouting, college scouting, pro scouting. You're talking to all the other GMs. There's a lot of people stuff in there, as well as talent evaluation and what moves should you make. So again, the role is paid very handsomely. I would love it. I would love to get paid like that. But to say that I'm better at them is ridiculous. Could I make better moves than some GMs? Yes. Shout out to you, Troy Weaver. I think I could make better actual, like, I'm sitting on NBA 2K. These are the trades and signings I make. That's cool. I don't know what Troy is like behind the scenes. The way he handles press conferences is not particularly inspiring. But to say that I'd be better at that job, I don't think so. There you go. What are the odds Lowry plays the back-to-back? You'd have to think it's probably 50. Do I think they start Bol tonight? Good question, Bradley. Fantastic troll. Did you talk G League? They don't even have a G League team. And Bol, they didn't even have a G League team, but if they did, Bol wouldn't even start for that team. Is Gordon a drop now? Beal, KD, Booker all back. I think, look, Allen is out at the moment, so maybe that's a hold. But if there is somebody that you want to add, if you want to take a Warriors flyer, Kuminga, Podziemski, Šarić, then Gordon can go. Lowry is probable, Basil, but they play tomorrow as well. That's what he's saying. So he'll play today, but does he play tomorrow? Seems unlikely, yeah? Is the Ayton injury looking more long-term than originally thought? No, I think he'll be back tomorrow. How can I convince your league to transition to auction draft for next season? Well, first of all, it doesn't take 3 hours, so get rid of that. It takes you can get it done in like an hour 40 or 2 hours. 3 hours, no chance. It does not take that long. How do you convince them? It's fun. It's the most fun draft experience you can have. It's the fairest draft experience you can have. It's the biggest test of skill you can have in a draft. But if they're all soft cocks and don't want to do it, then, what can you do? You can't force them into it. But it's just the fun. The red reverse Grinch on my Christmas Grinch. Yeah, I would love to get it. I've got the green Grinch. I'd love to get the red one. Don't know if I will, though. Probably won't, of course. Bread reimagined we must cop to. Yeah. Look, yes, I've got like 3 or 4 pairs of black 4s. I know it's a little bit different to that one, so I'm not as interested in that one. Why are big men usually bad at free throws? Good question. Some of it, some people have tried to do some studies on this. Some people think it's to do with the size of their hands. And just think about, like, if you're throwing a ball into a bin or a bucket or whatever, if you're holding like a golf ball or a tennis ball and you're trying to shoot it this way, it feels weird, right? To have that, your hand enveloping the entire ball. It feels weird. All right, bigger ball, a little bit easier. It's easier to direct. So I think that's part of it. Part of it is they don't practice that. They don't ever take outside shots as a general rule. So they're not actually out there practicing their shooting. Some of it, I think, also is eye line, extra height, different angle. And some of it is they're just, to be honest, some of it is the percentage of people who are 7 foot or taller in the US is like, don't you have like a 1 in 60 chance of being an NBA player if you're 7 foot or taller? Something like that. So the player pool of those guys who get jobs, there's a large portion of it they get jobs because they're that tall, not because they're that skilled. And I think that's part of it as well. Tejas, I just actually entered a raffle for some ASICs today with the, what are they called? The ones with the paint on them. What's it called? I forget it. Let me have a look. The gallery department. Yeah, that's the ones. The GT 2160s. Trying to get those. We will see. We're getting ready to get out of here. Got to go finally try and fix my balcony. So I might head off and do that now. So thanks to everyone for being a part of the show. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. And I guess I'll see you later. Guys, thanks. Good show. Not good show. Good show for you guys being here and showing up. And I will see you later. Bye.